I haven't danced in years.
Hey,
I think that
everybody.
should be a requirement every event we go to. We go dancing.
Well, it's Sunday night, and we're talking about dancing. It's our weekly board meeting. This is JoJo Bennington. So I know that it was a big sports day today. So we'll see who shows up to hang out with us. But in the meantime, let's talk about some gratitudes and some celebrations. Miss Lori was going to try and pop on, but I don't know if she will get to or not. And whoever's on the phone, I'm going to unmute you so you can talk if you want to. So please mute yourself on your side. Hey, Pam. Hey, Lisa.
Hi.
So we're just starting out with some celebrations and some gratitudes. And I'm just going to start off with sharing Lori Rizzo's celebration of making her dream come true and packing her stuff and moving to Hawaii. So rock on, sister. That's totally cool. She was committed, and she little bit at a time chipped away at her bills, and little bit at a time put some money away, and the opportunity showed up, and she told me by the end of the year this year she would be there, and I think she actually made it early, so that's good. We're excited for her. So anybody else have any celebrations, gratitudes, shout outs, good stuff?
Well, I do. So I'm going to reiterate the fact about following up with individuals. So there was a gentleman that I met. Oh gosh, it's probably been about a year now. And when he and I first started, he was he came out to our house, our old house, and was like looking at our air conditioning system, and it was like 100 degrees, and he's working outside, sweating his rear end off, and he's got 2 small kids, and I'm like running after him as he's leaving, and I'm asked him if he was open to any other, opportunities. And so he said yes. And so I shared isogenics with him, and he was gung ho, and then radio silence. And then he would text me again, like 2 or 3 months later. All right, so how do we do this thing? And I would share some information, and then nothing. And so I reached out to him yesterday. I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, I know that you said you wanted to do this. I'm like getting my team together for 2018 that wants to run. So, I know that you have some hesitation about it, but let's talk about those hesitations and let's see what we can do. And he's like, money's really tight. And it's all via text message. And I said, well, you eat, right? And he was like, yes. And I was like, okay, so this is no different than eating. Like, that's the way you need to look at it, that this is just food. So you're redirecting money. And I said, if you're interested in it, I said, I can show you how to make your money back right away. Ever since I met him, I've seen him as part of our team and growing, a business of his own or whatever. And so he was already saying, if I'm going to do this, he's like, my girlfriend's going to be right there along with me because she's doing Weight Watchers. And so I'm like, see, there you go. Like, you've already got half of the equation. It just takes one more, and then, we've got you off and running. So just the importance of continuously following up with individuals, no matter how freaking frustrating it is when there's absolutely no answer. I mean, because there's probably 6 or 7 text messages before that where I'm just, hey, how's it going? How are your kids? How was your Christmas? How was this? How was that? And nothing. So, and remembering who to follow up with, because I've done that before. So
awesome. It's so important. It is totally in the follow-up. I mean, hardly ever do we meet somebody like brand new and right out of the gate. They're like, yep, sign me up. I'm ready to go. Yeah. It's so if we're not following up, really important. And I hope everybody has one of these handy little dandy things, which is my little red book of names of people that I meet that are interested, people that I want on my team. So this is my ongoing list of So I am always going back through it, adding new names to it, and it also is a good way to remember who I've met and to follow up. So this is a Kathy Coover. She said do this. So when Kathy says do something, I do. So awesome. Good for you. And that's going to help us with our conversation tonight. A little bit about objections too, but does anybody else have a celebration or gratitude?
Sure.
Okay.
I am very grateful that Jeff and I were able to spend quite a few days in Sedona after NYKO. And we had more conversations with people about isogenics, but I didn't necessarily get the contact information for everybody that we should have. But that was going out of my comfort zone a bit, and I did it, and I feel like I can do it more often now.
Awesome.
And we fell in love with Arizona.
Yeah, I knew that you would. I'm not surprised. So what would you do differently? So what do you think you'll do differently going forward? So
instead of just handing my card to them, I will ask for their contact info. I did get one person's information whom I will text next week. He seemed very interested, and I think it's something that he and his wife could do well with.
Good. And that's a good notice. So I'll share a story. The very first booth we ever did, it was me and Dave and Marianne Bethard, and I think Kim was even there. We had like a really great group of people. We did this big, huge street fair, and we had, I can't even tell you how many people came by our booth, took our cards, like had long, lengthy conversations. We're coming to the meeting on Thursday. We'll totally be there, blah, blah, or Tuesday, whatever night we used to do the meetings. And so we're all excited. We get there, and one person came to the meeting, and guess what we did not have? We didn't have contact people or contact information for almost any of them. So we spent all that money to do all that time, all that weekend, and that was a huge, we never did that again after that. We always got everybody's information. But now with Facebook and how the majority of people are on, I immediately connect right then. So like, hey, are you on Facebook? Are you a Facebooker? Let's connect right now so we can stay in touch. And I find that if somebody's on Facebook that they have no qualms about, I'll hand them my phone. I do it right then. We connect right then. And we do a booth now. And instead of like doing all that other stuff, if they're on Facebook, we connect right there, right then. So just as a thought of, so don't feel bad because, we're all a disaster before we're masters. So it's all good. Because we blew that. We probably had, 200 people. We thought we were going to have the biggest meeting in history. Nobody came. So, good for you, Miss Mary. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you like Sedona. I knew you would. Did you have car trouble? You had car trouble too, didn't you? A little bit?
The person whose contact information I got was the tour guide, and the van on the tour broke down.
Oh.
But he was
I knew there was
great.
something. That's good.
He was great. Like we were on the way. We were leaving one area of the Grand Canyon to go to actually, he was going to bring us to a place for lunch before we saw more of the Grand Canyon. But we broke down like, I don't know, quarter mile maybe from another restaurant. So he just brought us to that restaurant, took care of all the expenses.
Yeah.
And then by the time we were done with lunch, we had a little while to walk around, and a new van came and everything was great.
Oh, nice.
So he handled it really well.
Level 1 problems, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. All right. So I don't know how many people opted in. Well, hey, Mr. Kevin, how are you? Good to see your face. And I know you were at your first event. You want to share? Let me unmute you. I can't hear you. Hang on.
That works. Hello.
Okay.
All right. Meeting was great. I had a great time. I'm very fired up. I literally just got off the plane from Phoenix. I was out there, but I have family out there, so I stayed an extra week. But I've been handing out cards like crazy. In fact, on the plane and coming from Minneapolis earlier, I met some people from Dubai. Gave them a card. So I'm on fire.
Awesome. That's it. So were you hearing Mary's story about she handed out cards but didn't get their information?
No, but that's not unusual. I've had the same issue. Although I'm getting much better at having
Good.
trying to find ways to get people to say things like, "How about you? What are you up to?" kind of thing. So
right.
I'm learning.
So totally, it's awesome, and it's great that you're connecting. And for us to do that really cool follow-up that Anna just shared with us about being able to go back and follow up with somebody who you chatted with before, really important piece of the puzzle is people forget, people put down the cards, people look in their wallet in 3 months and go, who is this guy? So, it's so good to have the contact information to be able to immediately stay in touch. Yep. And Facebook friends are awesome.
So who can read this thing?
Yeah.
No, it's in English on this side. It's in Dubai on the back. Awesome.
Perfect. And so you enjoyed New Year kickoff and the experience behind that?
Yep. It's, I actually went out to their corporate headquarters on Friday, or Thursday actually. They only do, sorry, I gotta kill that. They only do tours on Friday, but I did get to see the facility anyway. So it was very good. I mean, I'm very much fired up. I'm very interested in the stuff, the senior stuff. I'm really gonna be focusing on understanding telomeres. So.
Okay. Well, we have the foremost leading expert, Dave MacArthur.
Oh, yeah. I have a picture with Dave, actually, just as a memory. So.
That's awesome. That's good for you. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. Thanks for the little party that night, too. I was exhausted. I left before. I couldn't get to you. You're, popular. I tried.
I think we said hi once at one point.
Yeah.
It's all good.
That was fun.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. So let's chat 20 and 30. I know that not everybody that's on has opted in, but no matter what, we're always in a push. But really working, looking at the 20 and 30, and we are 21 days into this month. 21 days, and I don't know about you guys, but I've been connecting my butt off. So, and I've actually, the people that we've been able to enroll have been somebody that was enrolled before that came back, that wasn't in the welcome back, but I randomly reached out to, said, how you doing? Said, I feel terrible. I'm like, when are you gonna let me help you with that? He said, when do you want to meet? So it was like that easy little conversation. Wish they were all like that. Maybe they could be. That will be the intention. Finally enrolled somebody on a follow-up that I met 2 years ago, and was able to. I've just kept in touch with her and dripped on her, and it was finally time for her to join us. And so she got started, and I have 40 fence sitters that I'm trying to, kick over to the other side. And so no question, even with the tons of connections that we're doing and the tons of follow-ups that we're doing, and I lock myself in my office and don't leave. It's been interesting. And I've kind of noticed a lull everywhere.
So even though we're like on a push, it seems like there's kind of a lull. And so I'm not feeling bad about it. I just know that whatever's going on, there's a huge shift that's happening. And so I don't know if anybody else feels it, but there's some old icky like energy and feeling. I think that's going away, and there's really good stuff that's coming on the other side. And I feel good about what's happening. So just want to check in on everybody and see how the connection is going, and see where we can help with connections, conversations. And so who's wanting to step up and talk about how it's been going for them?
Hey, Jojo.
Hey, Katya.
Alrighty. So, I did send out a whole bunch of private messages to people in increments, not like 75 a day. So after Raphael's suggestion, so I spaced them out. Got some interest back, and when I message back, there's crickets on the other side. And it's not only my case. I've talked to Morgan, talked to Sonia, and I get the same kind of like feedback from what's happening on their end too. So interesting. I don't know. There's just a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then last week I was taken out of the game a little bit because of some family stuff that had happened. And that's still going to continue on this week with family coming to town. But I'm setting time aside a little bit for focus time. And, but that's it. So just keep going forward and see what happens. But I did want to say too how much I appreciate our team having that sip and sample at Morgan's on Thursday, you know, distracted me, took my thoughts away a little bit, and seeing everybody's posts every day is really something that I needed this week. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome, and we're all sending love to you and Nick and the fam.
Thank you. And I was like, what the hell happened? My father-in-law passed away last Tuesday. Not unexpected, but still, you know, you're dealing with a lot of stuff, and now we're dealing with organizing family coming in from different states. And, so that was that.
I'm sending you guys love. Sorry, I didn't know that.
So just seeing everybody, you know, I haven't been like too engaging, but just I so appreciate that time and our tribe by seeing everybody's uplifting posts, even though you don't know that you're speaking to me, but you did.
Thank you.
So I have to agree with you, Jojo. I felt a shift as well, and I told somebody when we were at NYKO. And so I've been connecting this past week a lot. Well, this entire month, a lot on LinkedIn, and it's slow going, but it's just because those are great relationships I'm just now building. So I have absolutely no prior, you know, relationship with those individuals. So, you know, and I sent out emails to the individuals that were part of the Welcome Back program. I only heard only one person responded. So yeah, it's been interesting. I don't know what's going on, but whatever that shift is, whatever that energy is, I've been feeling it too. So.
Good. Thank you for sharing. And I'll recommend that with the Welcome Back. I did all the emails, got no responses. And so I switched over to, messaging and said, there's been some interesting news. Isogenix is offering a special, and you fall into the category of, you know, meeting the criteria for this special thing. Can we chat so I can explain it to you? And I had a lot of conversations from that, and was able to actually get one person re-enrolled, and I have another that's going to this week. So I didn't have that many. I only had like 11, I think, that fell into that category. So I do have several that are asking me, and we have till March 4th for those. Unfortunately, they won't fall into the January Jolt timeline if they come in February, but that's okay. I'm all right with that. And we're a couple enrollments away from bonusing out with January Jolt, so we're just going to keep pushing. And know that it's not just you. If you're feeling the weirdness and you're feeling the lull, it's going around, and that's okay. And so we'll just refocus our intention on finding the people that are supposed to be here for us, and really getting clear on. Ever since New Year kickoff, I've been spending a lot of time with PETA in my ears and running around my head. So I've watched a ton of her stuff and gone back to a ton of stuff that I've watched, and to really, and then Zach posted a video today, I don't know if anybody saw it, about getting really clear about the people that we want to work with on our team. And, we say we get to work with the people that we want to work with. It's not like a regular job where you get hired in and thrown into an office and then you're just stuck with the people that you're stuck with. We have the choice and the ability to create our perfect customer, associate, team member avatar. And so who is that person for you? Is it, somebody's known? So look at their core values, look at their skills, look at their personality, look at all of those things that you would want in a perfect team member, and get those really clear and written down and focused. And as you'll see that as you start to go out and chat with people, that those people will start to show up. And I've spent some time doing that. I posted up a post a couple of weeks ago about how to create your perfect person avatar, and just some ideas of ways to do that, and sat down and got really clear about who those people are. And as I'm chatting with people, I'm starting to notice that they have the same underlying feeling, they have the same backstory, they have the same direction and mission. And so it's kind of cool to see that comes to fruition. And so I would definitely recommend to do that. And thoughts? Anybody else want to hop in on connections? And if not, then I'll stay there for a second. I think that as we're getting into a space where we're really talking to so many people every day, I can't even, I have so many messages going at one time. And he's like, who are you talking to now? I'm like 11:30 at night. I can't see straight. I'm still on my phone, answering messages, because I'm just focused and connected. And I'm not, right now, I don't feel like I have off hours, because I'm just, I have to do what I have to do to get to my goal. And I'm willing to put in the time and effort, and I can do that. But in the middle of all of that, there's 1,000 objections a day that I hear. And I know that we all get those as we go along. And to know how to overcome them helps with that struggle a little bit. It also helps with that sinking feeling when somebody throws that objection out, and immediately you're like, oh, what do I say now? And feeling bad about it. But really, when somebody throws an objection out, if they're staying open, now obviously if they're going to throw an objection out and then cut you off and not be open, then, those aren't the people we want anyway, because they're not going to look any further. We want to work with people who want to work with us, not who want to fight with us. And so we know that and feel that out. But when somebody throws an objection out at you, it gives you an opportunity to have a further conversation. So if you're open, I could show you how blah, blah, blah. Right? We found people all the time, and we'll talk about that for a second. But so what's the biggest objection that somebody's hearing right now? Money, 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 money. Money, money, money. So that's the exact reason that I want you to take a look at this, because I also used to be in that place where every cent stressed me out. And because I said yes to this and said yes to my health, it's actually helped change our financial blueprint. So if you're interested in, you're open and looking further, I'd love to be able to explain how that works. So that's a Jay Coburn line. That's exactly the reason that I want you to take a look at this. So whatever the objection is, that was the comeback. But so with money, what do you guys think is the best way to overcome that you've found?
Can I share something, Jojo, from Thursday from the different sample?
Yep, absolutely.
So one of the guests was Rowena, who had just come on board with, she just ordered Isogenesis, couple of shakes. That's what was in her budget, even though we had talked about other things. But at the time, she was like, no, this is what I can do. But we went over with her and one of Morgan's friends the benefit of enrolling people on a value pack and a double PIB, and what's on the table if they do it with 2 people in the same week. And she was like, I want that. And she started texting people as we were sitting there going over it. So that now really reinforced for me what Eden was saying, like you have to put that on the table for people and tell them what's possible, and that the value pack really for someone new can cost as little as like $130, $38, something like this. If they take advantage of the double PIB, get people on board with value packs in the same week. So those are conversations that I've been having with people this week, and they seem to be pretty excited about that potential to get money back. Even people that are already in and came in with less than that, it's like, look, if you keep your spot active, it costs you about $160, but you can make $450 back by sharing the value pack. So people do want the money for sure. And it's just a matter of taking the time and explaining to them. It's like, can I just show you what that could look like? And then you take it from there. But that, I mean, Lauren was pretty excited, right, Morgan? And then we could tell Ravina, and that's all she talked about in the car, because I gave her a ride back home, and that's all she talked about.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So can you guys know about so what she's talking about with the money, with the value pack? Does everybody know that? So with the new value pack, not only did they shift the product around a little bit, so they actually added in some extra products. It's $120 something, $23 value more than it was, and they've added in greens and what am I missing? They took out the 2 sample things and added in the greens and wafins. Okay.
And the vouchers.
And the vouchers to enrollment codes. But when you enroll somebody on one of those, that's $100 PIB back to you as the personal enroller. When you do 2 or more of those in a week, then each one of those will double to $200. So if you did 2 value packs a week with someone, that would be $400 back to you. And when you are first new and you just become consultant, then you get the $50 back. And so that's where $450 comes from. When the pack is $589, we get $450 back. Then essentially all of that food cost us $139. So if I could show you a way to get, what is it 68, 78, 88 meals and snacks for $139. What were you saying?
It's 320 BVs too, so it adds up quick.
And so, right, without even talking about the commission part, that's just the product introductory bonus. So, cool. So when we can show somebody, so if somebody's going to give me a money objection, one of the things I love to do is go, okay, well, let's take a look at what you're spending on food right now. Because all we're doing is showing you how to transfer by something you're already spending money on over to this. So we're taking that expense and turning it into an investment. Investment in your health, investment in your financial blueprint. So how much are you spending on breakfast? How much are you spending on lunch? How much do you spend on snacks and coffee? Okay, so when we put that all together, really for the majority of people, we're between $15 and $25 a day when we break that down. Every now and then you'll get somebody that goes, well, I don't eat breakfast, and lunch or work pays for my lunch, and whatever. But if we really look at snacks and coffee or eat or Monsters or whatever crazy thing they're doing, we're still able to transfer them over into something that could benefit them. So when we do that, well, we have a pack that could be $10 a day, $15 a day, $21 a day, and can replace all of these meals for you. And so when we show it and we break it down like that, people see a big number and they feel like it's just piled on top of what they're already spending. When they understand that it's just a redirection of something that they're already spending, and they're going to go spend it anyway, still, why not move it into something that's going to save their life instead of shorten it?
Jojo, is there a way to talk about maybe too, because I think when you break it down that way, people, like, they understand it, but then the difference is that they're buying all up front versus daily, right? So daily seems a little less painful because it's almost monotonous and they don't even think about it. So I guess what would be a good conversation to have around that? Because some people, if they're stuck on the money, may still not see the savings. Because I save, half of what my grocery bill used to be just by using Isogenics.
Good question. So if I take you to the store at the beginning of the month and you buy your food for the month, how much is it going to cost you to buy 88 healthy, nutritious meals?
Over $1,000.
Okay. So no matter what, you're buying that food at the beginning of the month and you're eating it throughout the month. So it's not like you're spending that every day or every week. It's something it's not a constant expense. So we'll all do that. We all go grocery shopping and then eat our food throughout the week or throughout the month. And so that's still I believe just the same conversation of allowing them to say, well, yeah, I do. I grocery shop and then I eat my food throughout the month. And I always, no matter what, I do this, I don't know how many times a day, but I understand exactly how you feel. I felt the same way. But when I looked deeper, what I found was that I invested my money in the beginning, and as we went through the month, we ate our food. When we got to the end of the month, I had actually saved money off of what I normally would have spent on my normal grocery bill and all the money that we were spending out doing drive-through runs and everything else. I saved a ton of money, and we still continue to do that. And so I'm agreeing with you, which when I agree with you, then there's never a debate. It's always, okay, I agree with you because I totally used to feel the same way. That creates a connection. I felt the same way, absolutely. And then a redirection of that, which shows what we actually learned. And that helps somebody move through I really don't know what I don't know. I'm just throwing out an objection because I'm in fear that this is going to cost me money. It's not going to work. And I'm going to be stuck. So I find no matter what, when I work through the numbers with somebody, I can typically fit them into one of the packs. I mean, in $10 a day, that's a 30-day system.
I wonder if it might be good too, because oftentimes people will say, well, it's one of those things. And we'll ask, well, explain what do you mean by one of those things? What has your experience been? And I wonder, we could do the same thing for a money objection. Like, so what exactly do you mean by it's expensive? Like, describe that to me, because somewhere in there you'll be able to, I guess, connect the dots where they're missing those connections.
Absolutely. The more questions you ask, the more somebody's going to open up with you. So the more questions I ask, and the more I'm interested in why you feel that way, the more I'm going to think that you actually really do care about the fact of where I'm at and want to help me. So absolutely. Kevin, did you have a question or want to say something?
I have a lot of questions. I'm really been curious, actually. I think that this, can you see this thing? This is the sales sheet, or welcome to Objections sheet. Y'all know it. Oh, I just lost y'all. No.
We're here.
Oh, okay. This telephone circle thing keeps showing up on my screen, so I don't know what it means. Anyway, I think this thing is like more confusing, and frankly to me, I'll give you a couple of illustrations. I'm in the real estate business in my other world. So one of the things we do in real estate is when we do a closing, we'll give the household a gift. And I think, a lot of questions. I mean, I was at a closing in Phoenix last Thursday, and somebody I know, I've done a lot of things with the family. I hadn't seen his wife in a long time, and honestly, I thought she was pregnant. But you got to be careful about that one. So
be very careful.
It came, she said, I found, she's not. She said, yeah, I'm having trouble losing the baby fat. Well, the baby's 5 years old. So maybe this time. But I don't know how to say any of that stuff. But I do want to give them a gift. And the gift I'd love to give them is Isogenics. I mean, this is really, but I don't want to be judgmental about that with her. So I'm really thinking of doing that. I'm thinking of that's my, but what I'd like to do, if I could do that, I don't even know if that's appropriate. I'd love some coaching on that. I'm not going to send you $500 worth of stuff. I mean, that's, I don't give gifts that big. It's not that big a transaction. But I'd like to give her some basic thing, but honestly, I look at this and I don't know what the devil to do. I'm going to talk to Paul about it this week, but, so that's one, okay? And let me tell you, I could do that all year long, and I can also, it's an opening for the whole conversation. So there's some strategic value in that. And you share, they share. That family, I've sold over 20 homes to in the last 10 years. So you share, they share me all the time. Inside that family, I get shared. They won't buy a house unless they talk to me. I don't have many of them, but I sure would love a few more like that. But it's an example for me to, okay, how do I take what we're doing and transition it into a world of possibility? Here's the second one. I have a very good friend I've known for well over probably 50 years. She's now, over Christmas, ended up in the hospital and is in a rehab facility. Hates the food. And as someone else said to me, when you're in a rehab facility, you always hate the food because you got nothing else to do. You hate being there. However, it does raise an issue, I think, a bigger possibility. I think those people aren't getting enough protein in their diets to start with. And Christ, I hate the food. Yeah, I'd love to say to her, here, have this shake. You might like it much better. So don't know how to do that either, but I see that as a whole window. So I see opportunity everywhere. I'm just in the airport going through the security. Man, those guys need some stuff. and there are thousands of them. I'm walking down the walkway, 2 pilots are walking at me. Boys, you could sure use this stuff in my head too. So my point about all that is I see a lot of possibility out there. I just have to learn how to have the conversation. Mm-hmm. And I need a simpler system than this. I don't get this. It's you guys just a minute ago talking about the weight loss value pack and all that stuff. I have a guy who I'm going to sign. He's already sent me a text. He's coming. His budget is such that he won't do it till the first week of February. He's a huge market business builder. He trains over-the-road truck drivers. You know how the truck drivers are? overweight people in a lot of stress. And there's 56,000 short of those kind of people right now in this country. So there's a ton of them out there. My friend the trucker, he's going to start being an instructor. So I've told him about the business proposition. He understands it right away. And he said, gee, bad news. I'm going to train I'm moving from over the road trucking to I'll be an instructor. I said, Mike, what's the bad news there? You got a captive audience of 20 to 30 people every 3 days. Long way to get to. I want to simplify. I need an easier entry package to get people started. I think you ram people up to the big numbers, but I don't know. I just need to have a simple way. I mean, I need a couple, something under $200, I think, to get people started, because people are in great fear of, they think they're going to get scammed, and every story in the world shows up.
Right. Well, when they understand that there's a money back guarantees, they feel a little better about that. And if we're really going to set them up for success and really help somebody in the space that they're in, then we're going to show them their options. And one of the biggest things that we can do with poorly for them is make their assumptions for them and assume what they will spend, assume what they need, assume what's going on in their head. When we think that we know what's happening for somebody, 99.5 times out of 100, we're not going to be anywhere close to what's actually happening. So when you say this is, if you'll allow me to coach you and make a recommendation for you, I can set you up for success. And so here's the two things, which is where I loved Eden's verbiage around the value pack, because it really does serve you. When you're really wanting to lose weight, when you're really committed to jumping in there, it does serve you. And for guys that are on the road, it's easy, convenient. They can stock it in their truck. They don't have to stop at Pilot and eat lousy food. We used to work with truckers all the time. They're a tougher market, but they need it more than anyone else. And the key thing with them is that if they are not healthy, they don't get to drive.
Right.
And so we fit into that perfectly, where we help them go, look, this is a win-win. Not only can you create a residual income for yourself, so potentially down the road, you can maybe stop driving and, jarring your organs all over the place. But also maybe, there's also the keeping you on the road so you can keep working without having ankles that are this big and feeling lousy. And, it's just a different conversation. And I just say, be bold and ask for help. And as you go through it, step by step, we learn how to have the right conversations.
Good. No, I'm up for that. Yeah, no, I know where I'm starting.
We all started there. And that, I agree with you. That enrollment form is confusing. I've been doing this 12 years. It confuses me. So I don't feel bad about that. I love the little sheet that we have. That's the good, better, best. It's the 30-day, the premium pack, and the value pack. And I will send you a little image of it. I use that image. I show that to people. It breaks everything down per day, shows them what they're spending, what they're getting. It's so simple. And then we just go A, B, or C. You pick which one you want. And
perfect. That's what I'm after. Yeah. Keep it simple. Kiss.
Right. and I don't need to write their information on that sheet. I can take their information on my own. I mean, it's a very small amount of information we need from them. And so I don't even use those. I have them, but I don't use them very often. So,
Kevin, can I share something real quick? And this is something that we talked about at Celebration. I don't know if you remember them saying this, but it's very difficult to upsell somebody. So after hearing what their goals are and what their needs are, like Jojo said, you say, can I make a recommendation for you so that I can set you up for the best success as you start this journey? And then you share the value pack with them. and you explain that they get all of this, so that really it takes 99% of the guesswork out of starting a new program, which can be very daunting for some individuals.
Yeah.
It takes 99% of the guesswork out of it for them.
So Anna, are you talking about this $599 first initial sale?
$589, yes, sir.
$589, and includes the big motor shaker and everything. I mean, I do agree that, and I've been in the manufacturing business, and frankly, first pricing, you better get that right, because you don't price it right in the beginning, you can't change it later. I understand the premise, but you know, there's this is like a new way of you're asking somebody to change their, basically asking them to trust you. I mean, Jojo even said, how many people will go shopping for a month at the beginning of the month? Not many, I don't think, unless you kind of live out in the woods and have to go to town 100 miles away or something. Most people shop, their food consumption model is incremental. You know, they go maybe once a week or whatever, but then I bet if we average it out, I bet people don't spend on average more than $200 a trip. That'd be my guess. I don't know. I mean, I certainly, I know when I go shopping, I can, anytime it goes over 3 figures, I say, what did I buy? And then I'm fine with it usually. But so that's what I'm, and you're right, it's probably my worst enemy, but I suck it up a little bit to say to somebody, hi, oh, how are you? Here's my name, and here's $559 opportunity for you to save money. What?
Well, and I appreciate that. I really do. So here's the thought. When we understand what their goals are, and so I'm not going to go, hey, Kevin, nice to meet you. So got an extra $589 laying around, right?
Trust me. Just trust me.
No, we're not. It's not the way it is. But in order for me to have a relationship with you where I trust you, I have to know that you care about putting me in something that's going to support me. And if that package doesn't support me, then I appreciate you moving me into something else. But for the majority of people that we work with, that package will support them really well to get them to their goals. But our important piece is to understand what their goals are.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we don't ever have that conversation, which is why, you've listened to the cake recipe and how that's laid out? So I would recommend listening to the cake recipe.
I don't know the cake recipe.
We will get you the cake recipe. So I hope everybody's listened to the cake recipe and understands, because in reality, moving from the cake recipe into Eden's verbiage, to me, is the perfect transition. I have never, not one time ever, gone through the cake recipe and not ended up with an enrollment out of it. Never, not one time. So it works.
Oh, get it out here.
So it works.
All right. Great.
And so to understand what their goals are and get them into their feeling and their why and get them out of their head. Because money is right here in their head, but when you talk about, you know, that I can't fit in my skinny jeans and that's where my pain point is and I don't feel good and I can't sleep, that $589 is gone. I just want to feel better.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think a lot of it, personally, I mean, some of it, one of the stuff, I laugh at myself a lot. Well, someone told the other day, you can count on him to laugh at his own jokes first, which is true. I always think that's funny. But, you know, let me give you an illustration. So what's this real estate guy telling me about nutrition? Like, is he now going to start telling me about tires for my car? Or what's the next thing he's going to try to tell me? So I said, the medicine man just come to town. Now that's in my head. And you know, counselor selling is something that's very close to my heart. I helped build a company around counselor selling, which is still a very successful company. So I understand the concept. And you know, my sense of that is trust. You know, you build trust. And when you have built trust, when the trust is there, and then people truly get a sense that you are interested in their well-being, anything is possible. I know that. I mean, I've done it successfully, and I believe it personally very strongly. And that's what I want to do, this cake recipe may be the missing ingredient for me. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Hey, Kevin, ask me what I do.
What do you do? I don't know.
I'm a professional real estate agent, been selling houses for 500 years. But what I'm really most excited about is the fact that I get to help people get their health back. Be at home with their kids and have a really lucrative side gig. So, I don't care how you say that, put it in whatever words you want, but this is what I do, but I'm also a professional network marketer. I'm a real estate agent, but I'm also a professional network marketer. I'm a successful chiropractor with a thriving practice, but I'm also a professional network marketer that helps people get their health and finances in order.
All right.
It's a true story. So to try and like sugarcoat it to make it look like this perfect little thing that you feel like it should look like, it's never going to look like that. So to just be authentically who you are, that is who you are.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, no, I don't know. We don't know each other well, but in my life, I believe that life is approximate. Life is not absolute. You just build it as it happens. I'm very enthused about this. I want to share the wealth of health and nutrition that we can bring to people very, very much. And so that's the fun part for me too. And I've been having fun with it. Hell, at 11 o'clock at night last night, talking to these people from Dubai. Hell, I didn't know
awesome.
People from Dubai.
And I love the ideas that you're having, and so we can mastermind about those on the side and figure out ways to make those work for you for sure.
Cool.
Can I add something? I just have two things. Going back to what you guys are talking about. The one thing about the value pack, or we used to call it the President's Pack, besides the value behind it, how many times have we had people that we enrolled previously on a 30-day or a 9-day, and then they find out about the President's Pack or the value pack, and they're like, how come you didn't tell me about that, 2 years ago? Where if we start pre-qualifying people, we're not doing justice for them or us. So we do have to stop doing that. Also, the other thing I see here is a belief. If you have a belief you're doing the right thing for people, that's great. But if you don't believe, like, for instance, you don't believe that the value pack is worth it or it's too much money, guess what? You're never going to enroll anybody with a value pack. That's just the way it is. So we're not doing anybody any justice by doing that. We just have to put value in what we do. And if you believe in the value, it'll show when you talk to others.
I totally agree with Vinny, and I'll piggyback on that. You said, why would anybody believe me? I'm a real estate agent. Now all of a sudden I'm doing this. So if that's the story that you're telling yourself, that's what you're projecting to other people. So like JoJo said, you're, a thriving real estate agent, but what you're really passionate about is being able, just like you said, I'm passionate about helping people with their health. That's who you are. So, you believe that that's the story you tell. If you start to tell yourself that, well, I'm a real estate agent, who am I to tell them about this? Then that's what people are going to feel. People will sense your energy. And that's no different than, sharing the value pack. If you believe that the value pack is expensive, that's what you're putting on them and that's what they're feeling. So learn the value of the value pack for yourself, and then it'll be easy peasy lemon squeezy to share it with others.
Anna, that's a good point. How do I learn the value of the value pack?
We'll direct you to things that are going to help you do that.
I enrolled in August. I frankly don't even understand all the BP stuff. So whatever was amount that needed to be the minimum BP, I said, fine, we'll do that. At the kickoff, and I haven't even looked at my bills yet, quite a bit of product came home. I bet I bought the value pack.
But if I had the same conversation with you about what do you spend on breakfast, what do you spend on lunch, what are you spending on snacks and coffee? So if we'd have had that conversation 6 months ago, what would that number have been for you? And without question, I get over and over and over and over somewhere between $15 and $25. So if I can teach somebody how to have 2 meals a day and snacks and their vitamins and their nutrients, and they're not going to GNC and buying, because everybody's spending money in all these places. So this covers snacks, your 2 meals a day. When we look at all of that and we break that value down, it's amazing. And so when you look at Eden's verbiage around of everything you get on there, you go, okay, so it's the best value that we have. So it's like, I don't know, $890 something or $875 worth of product for $589. And you can share it with 2 friends. And if we did this the right way, you really could essentially get all of that for $139. So when we break it down into what we believe is really positive for somebody, if somebody's spending that much a day on breakfast and lunch and coffee and snacks, then I need to help them. I had somebody that we figured out the other day, it came to like $42 a day. They kept telling me I don't have any money, but they're spending $42 a day on junk. It's a lot of money every single day.
Oh, I don't want to come and say, I don't want to project to you guys that I don't think is a good value here. I do. I mean, what I'm trying to get at is trying to get myself in a place of understanding for somebody else is how do we get them to try? How do we affect trial? Trial is the first time you use something. Trial is, I don't know, trial for deodorant. Everybody has a moment of trial on just about everything they do at some point. And I think thoughtful people, particularly things around their health and nutrition, I hope are being thoughtful about what they're putting into their bodies. And I'm very cognizant of that. I think we move way beyond, trust me, way beyond it. When people want to buy, when we have a conversion, and you have a following that follows you, man, the little one I talked about, these people I helped close through, they have bought, I don't know the dollars, they have bought, I think I counted the other night, 18 properties through me, at about $400,000 or $500,000 of property. That's a lot of trust, and I'm humbled by that. I'm sort of amazed, actually, that they continue, now that I've moved to Connecticut, they still want me to come out and help them buy houses. Okay, I want to try and do the same thing. And it's one of those people I want to help with her nutrition. That family, inside that family. Selfishly, I think if that's successful, I bet it goes through 15 other families within 3 months.
Well, and how amazing would it be to go, I hear the fact that you're saying that you've had trouble losing the weight. I have something in my life that I think could really help you. And because I care about you guys, and because you've been so good to me, I want to share with you what I know. And that's a true story.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely. So where I start on that conversation, I was thinking of gifting them isogenics, but I didn't get a good response. What do you guys think about that? Good idea, a bad idea?
It's not my favorite idea, but
I see the heads are nodding no here.
If you would like to have the conversation with her of, I would love to help you if you're open to doing this, and you'll allow us to coach you through, and you'll allow, we can figure out a conversation to have. Then, if you would like to gift it to them, this is what I understand. People, especially when they're in a transformation period, people don't value something that's gifted as much as they value something that they spend money on. Mm-hmm. So I used to do laser treatments to help people quit smoking. If a husband was going to gift it to a wife, we did not get the same results as if the wife just paid for it herself, right? Because then you have a vested interest in what's happening. If you can precursor that enough to, yes, skin in the game, absolutely. So if you can precursor where that's going, and she could agree to all of these different things, and you would say, I would be honored to gift you your first system if you're willing to do these things. Potentially, could it work in certain situations? Maybe.
Okay, maybe, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try it. I mean, I'm gonna try something there.
But we have to have the right conversation where she understands she's getting an account. This could also transition their family. I mean, there's a lot of things involved. So I'm not just gifting you a canister of shake. What I'm gifting you is a lifestyle and a financial blueprint that could change everything for you. So it's just a different conversation.
Cool.
Right?
No, I have the sense of that. I appreciate that. That's exactly what I've been thinking too.
Good.
So I asked.
Awesome.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
I realize I monopolized the conversation.
No, you're good. It was all good conversation, and it's good for everybody to learn from that because it brings up things that. Mary, did you have something?
I was just going to say that way back when I started, it's not way back compared to some people, but I was so skeptical that I only allowed a 9-day system. And by day 5 or 6, I was back on the computer ordering my next system. So it wound up costing me more doing it that way than if I had just bought the value pack in the first place. So the value pack is what I lead with all of my
such a good
prospects.
Point. It's such a good point because it's absolutely what we see happen over and over and over. And, when I posted up, so if you guys see the link that I posted up, that is the link to the cake recipe. It's also posted in the files in Rock Your Life. If you go in and search cake recipe, it'll lead you to Jackson Parr's video, his YouTube video. That is my favorite explanation of it. Breaks it down. All the verbiage and the words, everything is there. You totally understand it each step while you're doing it. I think that it's the biggest help of everything. And so I think that coupled with the verbiage that Eden taught us and you can go, and I posted that in the files also. You can actually, Laura was actually kind enough to transcribe that out, and it's posted in the files on Rock Your Life, and you can print it up and follow it. Ask questions. And I know we've gone really long. I just realized it's 6:35. I was all into the conversation. So, but hopefully that conversation around money, that was helpful because we know typically it's the biggest objections. It's the biggest objection. But if you feel felt found, you can feel felt found anybody on anything. A couple of weeks ago, one of my friends went, "Are you felt founding me?" We weren't talking about aesthetics, but I was like, "Yes, I am." But because seriously, it works. So I think we'll leave it there and we'll rally back. So hopefully that was helpful. And and I know you guys that I did not. I realized when I was at New Year Kickoff that I had not pulled the sip and sample raffle swag stuff for giving away. So we have all this swag to give away, and I never pulled names, but we'll get that done, right, Vinny? That was a yes from the other room.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you for being on and have an amazing week. Write out your customer avatars. There's your homework for the week, and really nail down those people that you want on your team. So what do they look like? Who are they? What are their values? Put that together and start being intentional about those people that are coming into your life. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, JoJo.
Go Rock Your Life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.